So your ex blocked you, maybe on everything, phone, social media, maybe even email, and you're sitting there thinking, this means it's over forever. Well, actually, being blocked might mean something completely different than what you might think. So just let me explain. So it's Max, by the way, and today we're gonna talk about what this really means when your ex blocks you, and more importantly, what you should and shouldn't do about it when you're trying to mend your relationship. Now, most people, they completely misread this situation. They try to either panic or find new ways around the block, or they assume it means their ex hates them and it's hopeless and the end of everything. Like, both reactions are wrong, even though I do understand where a person might be coming from that actually does them. And both will sabotage any chance you have of getting back with your ex, or even moving on peacefully. It can really hold you back from recovery as well. Now, before we dive into the psychology of blocking, I just want to remind you quickly that I have a free cheat sheet for you for free that you can download via the link below this video that basically takes you from A to Z through my entire process of getting back with an ex. So go and grab it if that's your goal, if reconciliation is your goal, and let's move on to the main thing. So first of all, what I want you to know, blocking is about them. It's about your ex. It's not actually about you. Meaning, your ex didn't block you because they hate you. That might be the case, okay, sure, but that's very, very rarely the case. Usually the reason they blocked you is because seeing you, or even the possibility of seeing you, it causes them pain. And this is about their emotional regulation, not really punishment. I mean, think about it. The opposite of love isn't hate, it's indifference. If your ex truly didn't care, they wouldn't need to block you. They could just ignore you. The fact that they need this barrier, let's call it, means you still affect them in some way. So blocking is emotional self-protection. Maybe seeing your stories hurts, maybe they're trying to move on and your presence makes it harder, maybe they're with someone new and they don't want the temptation or the guilt. Whatever it is, blocking means you still have the emotional power over them. At least, as I said, most of the time. I had an ex block me everywhere, then unblock me, for example, 3 months later to send a long message about how she needed to block me so she could heal. Like, she didn't hate me, she just cared too much, and her blocking was the only way she could function. Now, most people do exactly the wrong thing when they get blocked. They create new accounts, they get friends to check up on their ex, they send emails, if that's not already blocked. They show up at their places unannounced even, and every single one of these actions just confirms your ex's decision to block you. When you try to circumvent the whole thing, you're saying, fuck you, I don't respect your boundaries. Your need for space doesn't matter to me at all. My need to contact you is just way more important. Now, is that attractive? Of course it's not. It's the behavior of a crazy stalker, ex-boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. The only correct response here to being blocked is complete acceptance. No attempts to contact them through other means. No getting friends to pass messages. No accidental run-ins. Nothing. You respect the block completely. Why? Because respecting the boundary is the only thing that might make your ex comfortable enough to remove it eventually. And every attempt to break through the block just reinforces their need for it. Now, here's something that happens more often than you think. I call it the block-unblock-block cycle. I don't know, not really the most creative name that I've come up with, but you get the point. Your ex blocks you, then a few weeks later, they unblock you. Maybe they even reach out, then what do you know, they block you again maybe. Now, this isn't usually them playing games. This is them struggling with their emotions. When they block you, they're trying to move on. When they unblock you, they're giving in to maybe curiosity, or they simply miss you. And when they block you again, they're recommitting to moving on. Perhaps because you've done something to turn them off, or simply they changed their mind about the whole thing for nothing that you've specifically done. Sometimes people's emotions simply fluctuate around these kind of things, and you have to accept that. The point is, the cycle shows internal conflict. Part of your ex wants you in their life, part of them knows that they need you out of it, and every unblock is them essentially testing whether they're ready to handle having access to you, and every reblock is them realizing they're not. Now, if this happens, please don't read too much into it. Don't read too much into the unblocking. Don't immediately just reach out thinking that the door is open and that you're gonna rekindle this relationship. The unblocking itself is just them checking if they're over you, right? Maybe sometimes it could be because they're genuinely interested, but you never want to get too excited about these kind of things. You always want to keep expectations low, because at that point, it's not going to devastate you when, let's say, you hope that, hey, things are going to start anew again, and then they reject you for good and just tell you outright, I don't want to be with you, actually. So your reaction, or a lack thereof, it's what determines what happens next. Now, I've seen people cycle through this 5, 6, or more times even. And the ex who stays completely silent during all of it, they're the ones who often get that eventual genuine reach out. The ones who pounce the second they're unblocked, those are usually the people that get blocked again immediately, sometimes permanently. Now, also very important to note that not all blocks are created equal. There is the total nuclear block, where phone, all social media, email, everything, you're blocked everywhere. And this usually happens after a really devastating, horrible breakup, or when you've seriously violated boundaries after a breakup. Then there's the selective block, maybe just like Instagram stories or just WhatsApp. This is usually your ex trying to control their exposure to you. Like, they might still be open to check up on you, but they don't want you seeing their stuff or contacting them. And then there's also the delayed block, when they block you weeks or months even after the breakup. And this usually means they try to handle seeing your presence but just couldn't. Or they're seeing someone else, someone new, and they need to create distance because it can create awkwardness in their new relationship if, like, you know, the other person sees that you're, I don't know, messaging your ex, or they see your posts on the feed and the new person asks, who's that? And then your ex has to explain that, well, it's an ex, and on it goes. And then there's the permanent versus temporary block. So some blocks are final decisions. Others are reactions that get reversed. You can't really know which one you're dealing with, so you just have to treat every block as if it's permanent. I think that's like the best approach here, while being prepared for it to be temporary. Now, the worst thing you can do is to try to decode which type of block you got. It doesn't really matter that much. That's why I was so brief when describing them. Your response should be the same regardless, which is complete acceptance and just moving forward with your life. Now, what this means for reconciliation, it doesn't necessarily mean worse chances for it. Sometimes it actually indicates stronger residual feelings than that your ex is trying to suppress. I mean, think about it. If you meant nothing to them, they wouldn't need to block you. The block itself is an admission that you still somehow affect them. And that's not nothing. Some of the most dramatic reconciliation stories that I've seen started with blocking. Ex blocks them, person respects it completely, focuses on their own life, works on their own shit. Then months later, ex reaches out with, I needed to block you to heal, but I've been thinking. Or with a simple, hey, how's it going? And they kick things off and, well, they start rekindling their relationship. Now, if your ex ever unblocks you and they reach out, how do you go about it? What do you do to get them back? This is something that I address in my other videos on this YouTube channel. Go give them a watch, but I think even more succinctly, I put it in my free reattraction cheat sheet that I mentioned in the beginning of this video. So it's my roadmap, a one-page PDF, really simple, illustrated roadmap to get them back with an ex. It just leads you from A to Z, everything you should do, everything you should focus on when you're trying to rekindle a relationship. It's going to be the most logical next step for you after watching this video. Go and download it, okay? It's a really cool resource, again, completely free. Just click the link in the description down below this video, give it a shot. That's it. Thanks for watching. Take care.